Hi, it's Kai and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a Sabrina Carpenter inspired makeup look. I really like the way that her looks are, and I just love Sabrina Carpenter in general. I'm so sad that I do not have tickets to go see her. And like, oh my gosh, me and my friends were trying so hard to get the tickets and we just couldn't. 17,000 people in line in front of us, but I love her. I think she is beautiful. She's like a little Polly Pocket, and again, I really like her makeup looks, and I just wanted to kind of challenge myself a little bit with makeup. I haven't been doing it a lot and very consistently, so I wanted to do something different, something that might spark my interest in makeup and, you know, just give me a little bit more passion, more energy. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's a journey. Get a snack, and again, let's just stop the chatter and get into it. So I have two reference photos here. I'll put them somewhere on the screen so you guys can see them too. But something that seems to characterize her makeup in both of them is a brighter inner corner, and the fact that the eyeshadow is always slanting upward. One of these looks is more matte and one of them is more of like an ethereal shimmery type of one, so I think I'm gonna go with the more ethereal shimmery type of look. But first I am going to again kind of lay that outline of the shadow, kind of again going more, I don't know what that's called, more pointed and up, but I'm using my Pat McGrath. This is the Mothership, which one? The Mothership 5. And I'm just using this shade in here. It's basically my favorite shade in the whole palette, and I am using that on this is a BH Cosmetics brush. Is BH Cosmetics even still around? I feel like I have not heard of them in a while, but I like this brush because it's really good at stamping the product here in the outer corner and making that shape.
What a surprise, your phone just died, your car drove itself from LA to her thighs.
And so I'm just putting that on the outer corner, and I'm doing it kind of heavily because I think this look is going to need a lot of blending. I'm probably going to need to build up the color a little bit more at first, so that it doesn't just completely blend away, even though that's not something that I have a super huge problem with Pat McGrath shadows. I think anyone who has used the PMG shadows, I mean, there are some people who aren't a super big fan of them or feel like they're kind of mid, but I love them. I actually had bought another palette that I didn't like the colors at all. I'm just taking this Persona Cosmetics brush and blending that out into like the crease area, but very lightly, because like I said, and it looks like the deeper shades stay mostly on the outer part of her eye. And of course I have a different eye shape, so in face shape in general, I feel like that doesn't need to be said, but sometimes on the internet, you know, you gotta clarify things. So obviously it's not going to look the exact same. This is just inspired by her. I really like the way that her makeup is done, and I honestly feel like it's very similar to the way that I do my makeup on the day-to-day. This eye especially, it's kind of more difficult because I feel like this eye, my eyes, I feel like used to slant more upward, and now the older that I get, the more they are down turning, which I don't necessarily mind. I think it's a function of me just smiling so much and having my smile lines, which is a beautiful thing. But I'm just, you know, wiping with my hand kind of to sharpen up that line a little bit. I don't have on concealer or anything yet, or, you know, face products. I did prime, obviously. I primed and did my eyebrows. Eyebrows are not something I can really change. She has very nice, naturally bushy brows. I just waxed mine, so they probably would have looked more similar before I waxed them. I also don't have brow pencils. I don't really do much with my brows. I really like the way that my brows are naturally. So, but she has definitely very full brows, and I'm gonna take an even fluffier brush and blend even more. That's why I said, you know, we could kind of lay the foundation pretty thick because it's gonna be blended out anyway. Okay, and then it looks like she takes a shade that is just maybe a little bit lighter than her skin tone, and that is really shimmery, and puts that like all over the lid. So I am going to use Hypnotic Honey from Phytosurgeons. This is a beautiful cream shadow, and it's like kind of similar to my skin tone, maybe a little bit more cool tone, but it has a beautiful like shimmer on it. It's not like completely glitter, but it just, or maybe it is glitter, I don't know, but it just adds such a beautiful like shine to the lid. And I'm going in there with this shade. I want a lot of it. I want it to be everywhere, even up into the crease. So we gotta lay down a lot of it. This is a shadow that I feel like its full impact is best with a finger. So I don't love doing things with my fingers. It's the OCD and texture issues and like being dirty and that type of thing. But this is a shadow that I'm 100% okay, because it's so beautiful once you get that outcome. And I can use it with a brush too. I have used it with brushes, with, you know, more dense brushes, but I just feel like you again get the best impact with the finger. And in fact, let me wipe that off. And in fact, I'm gonna go in with a more dense brush. This is a detailer brush from Real Techniques. I have a lot of the old Real Techniques brushes because, I mean, they're like the OGs. And even their newer brushes, I feel like they just come out with kind of like new shapes and stuff. You can probably find one, is what I'm trying to say, that's like similar to the ones I'm using, and I'll try to link ones that are similar where I can. But this is good because again, that shimmer comes all the way up into the crease, so I want to be able to pick up some of the shimmer and really cut it into my crease.
Palm Springs looks nice, but who's by your side? It's kind of like,
I can never get over how beautiful this shade from Phytosurgeons is. They've sent me a lot of stuff, but this was one that I bought on my own actually. Just, I feel the need sometimes to say things like that. And then again with our fluffy brush, and we're gonna start blending. But sometimes I feel the need, and I get it, creators have really made a bad name. I actually wrote a podcast episode, or not a podcast, I don't do podcasts anymore, a Substack, what do you call it? It was adapted from a podcast episode, or kind of inspired. I actually went in a completely different direction than I did on when it was a podcast episode. Which if you were there for that era of things, then you're an OG. And if you were, please leave a comment. I would love to know what some of you guys have that have been with me from, you know, start to finish. Like, what goes on inside your head, you know, as far as the evolution of me as a person, because I feel like from the outside looking in, I would just kind of be like, I'm confused, like, this girl is this even the same person? But look at how gorgeous that is. But again, I know creators have given a lot of us a bad rap for, you know, talking highly and positively of products and brands when they've been sent those products and from those brands, but some of us do still buy our own makeup or buy our own products occasionally, and some of us do just end up really, like, part of the reason we end up getting sent things from brands or work with certain brands is because we already liked that brand before, you know. Of course it's different for some of maybe the larger creators, but I feel like on the whole, most of us, especially who are smaller creators, it's because we have been interacting and genuinely enjoying the products from a brand anyway, and they're just like, oh, we see you, like, hi, you know, you're a long time stan. Again, if you're like a person who blows up super quickly and gets in the spotlight, yeah, your PR might just kind of pick up where brands are just like sending you stuff just because they want to get their product out there. But again, not everyone is like that. There's a lot of us who are just working with brands that we actually like and interact with. But anyway, I could do another Substack on that. Next is, it looks like in both of these, she does have like a light kind of black or dark brown winged liner. So do I want to do, because I have this Pixie one, which you guys have seen so many times from Project Pan videos, but also I could just do a deeper brown. Decisions, garage looking like precision collision. Let's try dark brown, because I feel like at the worst I could do dark brown and it not be dark enough and use black after that, but like once I go black I can't go back, you know. Oh gosh. So I'm just putting that very close to my lash line. It doesn't look like she has like a lot of liner, and she actually has, it seems, more liner on the bottom lash line than the top. But like I said, it's just like a light subtle wing. This needs to be sharpened. It's like a light subtle wing that goes in the shape of her, you know, eyeshadow.
The girl you outgrew, at least that's what you said.
Okay, and then I'm gonna take this little Sephora Pro Liner 22 brush, because this is like one of my thinnest little brushes and is gonna give me like the most like just slight thin line. I definitely think using the dark brown was a good decision. And this, by the way, is it's so difficult to read this. I had a teacher, he was my 9th grade civics teacher. Sometimes I'm just like, do any of my teachers find my shit? But anyway, he was my 9th grade civics teacher. One thing that I took from him, outside of the fact that my fondness for him was questionable at best, was that for presentations, he said he had this set of rules, and the one that I feel like was the most stark and the one that makes the most sense is no dark on dark. And that is precisely what is wrong with this pencil, because it is brown writing on black pencil and you can't really tell, but it is the LA Girl Glide Gel Liner in whatever the brown shade is. I literally can't tell. If he ever does happen to come across this, which I don't think he would, I don't think he would be watching a makeup tutorial. I learned one thing from your class. Sometimes I just gotta give you guys the little lore drops. I feel like, you know, talking about my life and experiences now that I'm far enough removed from them that they're not super traumatic, or like some of them aren't super traumatic, that I can just talk about them. Or maybe I just don't really care anymore. That's also an option. So that is the eyes for right now, but we're going to zoom out a little bit for the face, which, let me look, because like the thing with her like base makeup itself, there isn't, like, I don't feel like she does a super bright under eye. It just kind of looks like her skin matches her face. She does seem to do a pretty like flawless full coverage base, which is very different than what I do on the day-to-day. So I need to think of a foundation to use. Let me see what I have in my beauty archives, because my Substack's name is The Archives and it's a play on my name. But anyway, hold on, this is actually really hard for me, but I have the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. Admittedly, this is the shade 385, which, chat, am I really this light? Like, please? because I always thought the shade was light for me, and that's why I never reached for it. But now that I'm putting it up next to my skin, I'm really just having to come to terms with the reality of the situation regarding my skin tone. Please give me some privacy and some time to digest this. Like, I did not really think I was in the 380s. Oh no. Okay. Anyway, shaking this up. This is again the Soft Matte Long Wear foundation, but I remember this one being really, really matte, and her face unfortunately does look more matte. No, that's still oh. Anyway, actually maybe I can just use foundation as concealer, because like I said, I am shook right now at like how, please, like I'm just gonna use the same shade all over my face. Let's just go ahead and go with it all over my face. I'm making it the heaviest, of course, in the middle of my face, to which it does seem like it is matching. Oh. And then blending to the perimeter so that it is, you know, like kind of full coverage. Like, you can tell that this is definitely, like, you can see the texture of, and like a little bit of my freckles, or they're actually moles, they're not freckles, I guess, but same difference. This really is my shade. Oh yeah, it's not really deniable, huh? There's no plausible deniability. Okay, I'm gonna take just a small little pump more for my under eyes.
What a coincidence. Ooh, I just broke up again.
Y'all, I really can't believe that I'm in the Fenty 300s. Like, I know I bought it, but I bought that during the depths of winter time during COVID. Like, in the deep depths of COVID. So the fact that I, at the very end of summer, am this pale, and there's nothing wrong with being pale. I want to make that clear. I just like being darker. I like my skin nice and brown and crispy, and all of the things that girls like me were told growing up we shouldn't be, you know, oh, stay out of the sun, you don't want to get any darker. Like, no, I want to get darker, please and thank you. It is looking really nice. I do like it. But let's set it. I'm just gonna use the, actually since I have it out here, the Fenty Beauty Powder in Honey. This is actually one of my powders that I enjoy a little bit more, and we might as well, you know, use the Fenty with the Fenty.
What a coincidence. This one is dedicated to my sister because she really loves Bed Kim. I was in a sheer dress the day that we met. We were both in a rush. We talked for a sec. Your friend hit me up so we could connect.
I'm also putting that all over my face, including my forehead, because my forehead is always pretty shiny. Pretty shiny. Okay, so we're down to a mostly matte. This is maybe a little, yeah, it's mostly matte, especially for me. This is matte. This is matte. We're going to bounce back to the eyes really quickly. I'm just going to take more of that brown because, again, it looks like she has, you know, pretty heavy-ish liner on the lower lash line. She does a little bit more there, which is different for me. I don't really do a lot of lower lash line stuff, and it looks like more smudgy, you know, not super perfected. I'm gonna take this little smudge brush and also smudge it out. But it's definitely like noticeable, in addition to having lower lash mascara. And I'm gonna add a little bit more on my upper lash line just because I feel like I need it to balance it out. Also flicking it out just a little bit more. Okay, and then her inner corner highlight, regardless of whether she's doing a matte or a, you know, more glittery look, is very bright and stark. So let me see. Do I have something maybe in the Pat McGrath palette? I'm gonna try this one, this light shade. It's like a satin shade. So we'll see if that works. And if it doesn't, then we'll go back to the drawing board. Oh yeah, that's nice and bright. I think that's pretty. Let me see how far down she takes it. Yeah, pretty far down.
And what are the odds? You send me a text and like now, no, manifest that you're oversized. I digress.
And then for her face, it seems like she has a pretty stark contour on her like cheeks as well as her nose, I think. For my nose, I'm gonna try this Westman Atelier Face Trace Contour Stick because I know that it's a little bit of a lighter shade and I don't really do like a lot of contour to my nose. I just bronze it. I like the way that my nose looks, but it's for the video, you know? And it looks like it's just kind of like right on the sides, which of course, like, contour your nose to your liking or to your, you know, nose shape. I think part of the reason I don't like contouring it is because if you look at my nose, like, it's not like a bump, but like, I don't know what it is. It's just something that it's not completely straight down. And actually, I think I'm going to use this on the rest of my face because this looks pretty nice. It might not be deep enough for what I need though.
I definitely missed this part, but I'm not re-recording and removing things.
And of course, I am going to bring it up on my forehead and a little on my chin or jawline. It blends out really nicely. I actually really like that shade. I need to use this more. I've had it for a really long time. I think I got sent it in an influencer Vox box, like back when influencer actually sent stuff to me. I actually really like that. It blended out really well. I don't feel like it's like separating or looking weird on top of the foundation and powder. So I like that. And I'm actually gonna take a little bit of the glitter that is on that detail brush and put it kind of in the inner corner softly. Her blush always seems to be kind of like a natural-ish pink kind of shade, or even sometimes like mauve. The most that I see is like sometimes a terracotta, but it seems pretty much like it's gonna be a pinky shade. So let me see what I've got. So I have this Pat McGrath palette. This is the Divine Blush and Glow Trio, and it has the shades Love Struck and Paradise Venus in it, and I feel like that could mix together be kind of what I'm going for. I also have my Mented Cosmetics, which I broke, but I love it so much that I just kept the packaging, put it in a little thing. But I also have this, and this is more of like a red-ish, you know, type of shade, kind of a brick shade. So I think I am going to go in with the Pat McGrath palette because I feel like I can mix these two together to get something that approximates the vibe. And she definitely lays the blush up on the cheekbones. I really like blush, so will I probably use more than what she uses? Yes, she doesn't blush the middle of the face, which, you know, that's gonna pain me not to do. I might have to still just do some faux freckles just to make me feel like I am a little bit myself. And plus, she has natural freckles, and I've seen some pictures where she has her freckles showing through makeup. She keeps the blush very much so, kind of maybe a little bit more on the apple of the cheeks actually. I don't do as much because I feel like it kind of drags my face down to put it all the way on the apple of the cheek. Again, for the vibes. Plus, you guys will have to let me know if maybe I just have some preconceived notions about makeup in my face, and you know, other techniques actually look kind of good. And then she definitely has a nice like highlight that is concentrated, so actually we might as well just use the one that's in here. It's Venus Nectar. I'm just taking a tap of that and kind of putting it on top of the blush. And it doesn't seem to go up like super high, so it kind of stays a little bit concentrated right here, it seems. And let me see, is there any on, it doesn't seem like there's really any on the nose. Maybe a little bit above the eyebrow, which that's understandable. She has really nice eyebrows, so I would want to highlight them too. Okie dokie, I put a few faux freckles on off camera because I just needed something. And then for mascara, I'm gonna do the Honest Beauty one that I always use, but oh, let me use the tubing side first. But I may do, because it does look like she has at least like a little baby bit of lash, like an outer corner lash. I have not put on lashes in at least or almost a year. I pretty much only use lashes at this point for, you know, dress up. I like the colored lashes and stuff like that. Anyone who has been on my TikTok or is a longtime follower knows that a few years ago my old job had a, what is that called? Our Christmas party or holiday party at the aquarium. And I decided to dress up as Ursula, like my take on Ursula, and that was really fun. And I did, like, you know, I think they were either purple or blue lashes, but otherwise I don't really wear lashes all that often anymore. I just feel like I have pretty nice natural lashes, but again, it looks like she has at least like a little flared outer corner lash, so anything for the vibes. And again, there's some on the lower lashes, so gonna do some lower lash mascara. I feel like this mascara is on its literal last leg though. I'm gonna do a little setting spray because admittedly I forgot to do that before mascara, so a little bit of something. This is so much, like, I know it's not really that full coverage and doesn't look like that crazy, but for me this is very, it's much heavier. Like, maybe not the eyeshadow, but definitely the like base itself. It's just not what I usually do, I guess. I'm not used to like the super kind of matte and like porcelain doll polished look. These are old as fuck, but these are the only, what do you call it? Well, not the only, I could cut any other lashes, but I have these like outer quarter lashes. They're from the Eylure and Thalia. Is Eylure still around? I haven't heard anything from Eylure in years, but they're the Eylure and Thalia little, is that how you say it, Thalia? The faux mink collection, back when faux mink was what was all the rage. Maybe it still is for lashes. I haven't worn them in a while, so you gotta let me know. And then I just have this Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive with aloe. I remember it being pretty good, so we're gonna use that today. So interesting to me to be putting on eyelashes right now.
Got me scrolling like out of breath, got me going like, ooh, who's a cute boy with a white jacket and the thick accent? Like, maybe it's all in my head, but I bet we'd have really good bacon.
That looks so dramatic to me. It looks much more dramatic than what it looks like maybe on her. Or maybe I'm just not used to seeing myself with this much makeup, especially since I've been a little bit depressed lately, so I'm just not you know, barely used to seeing myself with makeup at all sometimes. Okay, those are the lashes. It looks so super dramatic to me. I know it's really not all of that. Anyway, moving on to lips. It seems like she always has, like, even if it's like a darker liner and then a lighter shade inside, like it's always noticeable. I don't really know how to explain it. And then it's usually a glossy lip, which thank goodness with all of the matte we've got going on, I need a glossy lip. So I think I'm gonna do the more mauvey pinky variation of that versus the more terracotta one. I think this will be deep enough, but if it's not, I might have to go in with something else. It's the Persona lip liner in the shade 90210, which is kind of like a mauvey brown shade. It comes up a little bit more pink on my skin. And then for gloss, I am going to use the e.l.f. Glow Reviver Lip Oil in the shade Jam Session because I feel like this, again, goes with the general vibes. I maybe needed a little bit of something under that, you know? Something a little lighter. Do I have something lighter that I can mix? I don't know if these still exist, but I'm gonna take this Lorac Highly Pigmented Matte Lipstick in the shade CEO, which is a kind of light mauvey pink. That kind of adds a little pop to the middle. Okie dokie, so this is the completed look. You guys will have to let me know how I did. Do you think I nailed it? What would you change? Yeah, I like it. I feel like it's a little bit more makeup than what I like on myself personally currently, but it's cute. It makes me feel very nice and glam. Probably a little bit more than for just sitting at home with my cats. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know that you did in the comments, and I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy, and I will talk to you guys on the next one.